Pioneer, the pioneers of optical disc movies with a laserdisc, is not a company you'd associate with gaming, besides the ill-fated Laser Active system. But between 1995 and 2001, they published some games for Super Famicom, PlayStation and Saturn. Nothing really took off, but Bounty Sword and Noel both got 3 games each. But the one I think is most worth looking at is Gokinjo Boukentai on Super Famicom. The developer ITL has worked for many publishers, mostly Taito, Konami and later Atlus. Here they made a RPG in the vein of Earthbound, where you play as a kid that's even younger than Ness. The game starts with you starting the last year of kindergarten, and on the way there you see God. The thing is, God doesn't give you a quest or anything, he just kind of hints that stuff will happen and that you will meet many friends that will join your party, and so on. It's a very relaxed game in that regard. The game takes place from April to September. Monday to Saturday you go to school, and on Sunday you go on adventures. You don't get any experience from battles. Stat growth is done at school, where you pick 2 subjects and hope it goes well. Once you have party members, one of them can study alongside you. Battles are seen from a first-person view, and it's one of those where everything needs to be said by the little text box, so there's a lot of clicking involved. And I do think 5 button presses to physically attack one enemy is a bit much. Your techniques don't cost MP, but HP. The explanation is that you get tired from using them. But there are techniques that heal as well, so it's not a huge problem, especially when you get friends to help out. And everyone gets fully recovered after every fight anyway, so there's no reason to hold back, except on items maybe. There's also a persuade command. Success is random, but if it works, you don't have to fight, and you get a bonus item. Items you get from battle are usually not immediately usable. Most of the time it's scrap iron, monster claws or bottle caps. Luckily, these can be traded with these guys that are palette swaps of each other, and each item can be traded for the other, so to speak. So even if you run out of one, you can turn the other into that one, so that you can get the thing that you want, if you follow me. It's also convenient that when you buy equipment, the clerk asks you if you want to sell the previous one right then and there. What's not convenient is that you don't know what one-use items do until you have them in your inventory. Your house cat, who appears in the MGM homage when you boot the game up, follows you around and participates in battles, but it has a mind of its own and will sometimes run away for no reason, stop following you or start dancing or something. It will come back eventually though, and sometimes it brings money, so that's nice. You get money from your mother at the start of every week as an allowance, and the amount goes up with time. She always makes it a point to point out how she and Dad had to work real hard for this money and not to waste it. Gee, thanks for the guilt trip, Mom. She also always appears at the end of every adventure episode to scold you for being out too late, then bringing you home. The other characters acknowledge this too, and it's pretty funny. Dad, however, always says he'll be home late, but he doesn't look too busy, always standing by that bridge. Well, at least he doesn't call you. The graphics have a certain Nintendo-ness to them. The grass, hills and fences look very Link to the Past-y, and these poles do what you expect too. It looks nice though, and the characters and their portraits were all designed by manga artist Masumi Sudo. The town is your overworld. Most houses can be entered, and there are little paths and shortcuts all around. The areas that later become dungeons are there from the start. They only become full of enemies when the plot demands it. Well, I don't know if plot is the right word. As far as I've played anyway, what happens is childish, so to speak. There's a spoiled brat kid named Nanako who bullies the weak kid who cries all the time. And when she throws a thing of his down into the water, we have to go into the sewer and get it, and fight a dirt monster at the same time. Why not? She seems like the villain, but I have looked ahead and she joins the party at some point. Gokinjo Boukentai is a nice easygoing RPG with humor and a pretty detailed world. It doesn't get as psychedelic as Earthbound, but I actually like having actual backgrounds during the battles. Some scenarios only happen if you leveled yourself up a certain way, giving some replayability, and there's also a new Game Plus type mode called VMAX. I like this game. Now to see what it's going for. Oh.